Welcome back to Me First with your host, Drew, the resident jokester with a heart of gold, and Amanda, optimistic space cadet who sees opportunity everywhere. We dive deep into everything from navigating love and family to crushing your business goals, all with a heaping helping of conversation and good humor. So make sure you subscribe and join the Me First fam. New episodes drop 3 weeks out of every month on the second, third, and fourth Thursday. Want to know more about a specific topic? Let us know in the comments. Hey, Drew. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I am good. I'm ready to dig into this episode. I just took a little break, and my pup, she came out of the son's room, and she was like, "Hey, Ma, what you doing? Can I come in?" I was like, "No, but I missed you." And she's so cute. I have to have her on an episode for like 2 minutes one day because she can't do much more than that. She's
That's all the pups. Those are my guys too. They wanted to come in on the last episode. And they were getting all underneath the desk, pulling out the wires, and I was like, this is not gonna work out.
Not gonna work out.
Yep, it's going out front.
And you're trying to be like, act natural, and
right?
It's like the whole world is coming apart. And you're just like,
and they're just so excited, tails wagging. Life's great for them.
They're like, I'm doing so good.
Right? Like, I am good right now.
Oh man. Like on when COVID started and that one interview went viral of the guy who was he was on like some national news station, I think, and then like his kid comes in the back, and then his wife comes in to get the kid, and she's like trying not to be seen, so she's like dipping all low, and it's just like this whole scene behind him, and he's just sitting there the whole time like
all you can do sometimes, like,
yeah,
alrighty then.
This
is how we're gonna play it.
I love it. I loved it. It was a good time. Yeah. So last episode we talked about the what routines are, and we got into basically the four main types of routines that most of us will encounter, and those four types of routines are daily routines, which are the most common for most of us, the weekly and monthly routines, which are kind of what those daily routines build on, but a lot of times it can be something as simple as going to the grocery store each week, or setting your budget every month, or reviewing your budget. And then we talked about routines for specific goals. So if you have a goal to learn a new language, or shed some pounds, or become a subject matter expert on a certain topic, there are going to be certain potentially routines that you put in place in order to get there. And then routines for improved habit. So, if you have a goal to quit smoking, there might be a routine that you put in place to replace the smoking routines that you may have had in the past, right? So we got into a lot of what a routine is. We talked through some examples in Atomic Habits and a few different, the compound effect, some studies from the University of London, I believe. And in this episode, we are going to dig deep into why routines are important and how they can benefit a life. So, a life. This is not jokes, not games. This is about real life.
Real life. I hope that this benefits a life like mine. I hope so.
Like, I'm really looking at my life.
Correct.
In this whole
my life.
Benefiting, as we talk about the benefiting.
Yeah.
So there are quite a few different ways that routines do benefit our lives, and I think sometimes, I know I do, and get kind of, we talked about it before, but like so caught up in executing a perfect routine that I don't even recognize the benefits that I'm actually getting from the imperfect execution that I am doing. Right.
Absolutely.
So we have a few different things that are benefits of routines that I think we can all kind of like hone into, right? So one, increased productivity. So decision fatigue and streamlining tasks, allowing for better focus. Getting rid of decision fatigue is such a beautiful thing. And our routines help us with that, because the less decisions we have to make, and we'll get into that, the better off we are, right? So there's also reducing stress. Routines help us to create a sense of control, predictability, which can reduce anxiety, which high anxiety makes it harder to execute on our routines. And so it's kind of this, this cycle that we got to figure out where to break. We got to throw a wrench into that cog and make it stop, right? Or into that wheel. Improved decision making. So routines free up your mental space. So if I don't have to think about drinking water throughout the day, or eating, what I'm going to eat for breakfast, or what I'm going to wear today, now I'm able to make more and better decisions about partnerships I'm going to make with my business, and reaching out, or executing on putting together a marketing strategy for Q4, right? Being able to do those things instead of thinking about the little other things throughout the day. And then there's, basic enhanced well-being. So routines can help us have better sleep, healthier eating habits. Routines can help us have better stuff going on in these 6 inches between your ears, which I always say is can be the most dangerous place to be, in those 6 inches between your ears. So,
and these Gemini minds get busy.
Oh, man, so busy and wrong. And
wrong, you say? You say wrong?
Like,
wait.
And
like, when you say wrong, you mean like not accurate?
To the point of ridiculousness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And that is a 100%. Strong statement. 100%.
That's my experience, at least.
It is it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've experienced the same thing. No.
I know for a fact that you have.
Wait. Factual information?
Mm-hmm. I have factual evidence that you have.
I haven't seen this evidence.
Making up stories in your head about the situations of life, and then writing the whole book about the story. That
next topic.
Next.
Next topic.
You're like,
let's move it. Move right along here.
Moving right along here. All right, so I got a question for you.
I have no. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
some stress, the anxiety.
Share an example or a story with me of a time when having a routine and sticking with it,
yes,
helped you to achieve a goal. So, yeah, so it could be increased creativity, a writing routine, anything.
Give. I don't think I have a good one. So last August, I went to the doctor, and I said I had a elevated A1C, which of course that is a road to type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
And so I said to myself, all right, I don't want diabetes. I just don't want to fight that battle. So I got to do something different. And so, shortly after that, I got into the cycling. And so I committed to doing that. And so if I don't do anything else, I will get out and I will go cycle. So I pretty much, and as well as eating better, now I don't have eating down to a science, but I do try for the most part, at least 90% to eat better. So I practice that every day. And so just Thursday, I went and took some new results, got that A1C number down. So that was a win for me. And that I believe, absolute routine, being able to follow a cycling schedule, every day getting up, doing what I need to do, getting my body active, putting the right foods in my body, I was able to accomplish that as well as lose weight. So
yeah,
it worked out. And that was a big
that's
thing.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you. That was a big deal. I definitely didn't
Look
want
at
to.
you executing a routine.
I know. I was like, I don't even have to walk in circles. This is
That's a big
great.
deal. That's dope.
Yeah. So that was good.
Yeah.
That was a good feeling.
I mean, I've had a front row seat of watching you. You know, I wonder if I can say falling in love with cycling and
yeah, for sure.
really just, you know, turning that into something that it's not a chore. It's not,
No.
I have to do this. It's not any of those things. It's really just like joy in finding something that that you really enjoyed, and having that circle back and correlate to improved health is just huge.
Yeah, it's a win. It's a win all the way. So
Yeah,
I'm thankful for that for sure.
well, see, routines can be good.
They can.
They can be very good.
They can. I was a
So,
little. It wasn't too hard to execute on that. It wasn't too bad, but I mean, I had a. It was a good incentive. You know, diabetes is a tough battle to fight. You know, and I was like, man, if I can avoid it, you know, I was thankful to have the opportunity up front to say, hey, you on the way. So let's reel it. Yeah, so let's reel it in. So I'm thankful to be able to turn that around.
Yeah, diabetes doesn't look fun. I know quite a few people who have and are fighting that battle, and it does not look enjoyable at all.
And it just wreaks havoc on your body. I mean, you know, it affects your eyes. It just affects so many aspects of your body. So it's just like, if we can avoid it, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's go that route.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, that's dope. Well, so like we said, right, there's 4 different benefits that we can talk about, right? So increased productivity, reduced stress, improved decision making, and enhanced well-being. And on the increased productivity piece and eliminating decision fatigue, I know for myself and I have not always been great at it, but when I meal prep, it's so helpful for me because you've seen me like midday after I've been like in the zone and not thinking about myself at all. I didn't eat breakfast. I haven't drank any water. And now it's, 12 o'clock. I've been up since 5 and I'm hangry. Mm-hmm. And the thought of even deciding what to eat is so overwhelming for me. And to the point where I'll basically try and get other people to make that decision for me. I'm like, hey, hungry.
It's not really a basically try. It's you do make other people make that decision. It's not. Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody's clear on how it exactly works. So it's like it's so hungry and hangry. It's like it's a combination. And she's like, I'm just weak. I'm lightheaded. I got a headache. My stomach hurt. I just need somebody to get some food. What are we eating? Like that's how it goes. Yeah,
and then the question of, well, what do you want? No.
Immediately no. Someone needs to make a decision.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Like I can't. All I can do is focus on breathing because I really feel like I'm about to melt away right now. Like I'm going to fall out, and I am not about passing out in front of these people, but it is about to happen.
It is a very serious event when it gets to that place, and it's like, I'll fly. Oh, I'm not buying, but I will fly. It's like, oh, all right. and then once the food is decided on where we're gonna eat, you have about 30 seconds to get your order in, or you can forget it because she's leaving. That's how it goes. So we're just I just wanted people to know the whole story.
You didn't want nothing. Like I'm just. Poor Jazz. Poor Jazz. She was like, I want to order too.
Yeah, it gets brutal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, if I had a better routine set out in that, probably would have been a little bit better for everybody involved.
There you go, for the entire community. Yeah.
This episode of Me First is brought to you by Maine Lockology. At Maine Lockology, we pride ourselves in making every head we touch look amazing. Located inside Salon Boutique at 3163 South McClintock Drive, Suite 12 in Tempe, Arizona. Check out our work on Facebook or Instagram at Maine Lockology. That's MANELOCOLOGY. Or book online at mainlockologyllc.booksy.com. Yeah. So there was a study that was done by Wendy Wood and David Neal, and it was published in several scientific journals. And the study is called "How Do Habits Guide Behavior? Perceived and Actual Triggers of Habits in Daily Life," or also noted as "Habits: A Repeat Performance and a New Look at Habits." So I don't know what the study was actually called, but this is what I'm finding it as in all of the different academic journals that I looked it up. And what this study found was that people who followed consistent routines made healthier food choices compared to those with less structured routines. And a lot of that came into if you have a routine that includes the types of decisions that you're making on that small level throughout the day, you're not getting into that hangry panic mode and getting to a point where you can't function, right? So routines can act as kind of a decision autopilot for healthy habits as well. So we talked about the decisions that we make lend to the identity of who we are, whether it be who we want to be or who we don't want to be, right? So your identity is your repeated being. So if I guess I'll go a little bit dark, right? There were times back in my drinking days before I made the decision to get well, to get better. And I remember having the thought of, well, maybe I'm just supposed to be an alcoholic on the street or whatever. I didn't get to that point, but I mean, I was playing the tape through and thinking like that could be an end for me. And maybe that's just what my life's supposed to be. Maybe that's just my identity, right? Because the things that I was doing were lending to that identity, not the identity of who I truly inside felt that I was, could be, or wanted to be. And so that decision autopilot is actually something that I talked about with my therapist. I can remember having this conversation with this guy, and he's like, so what does it look, what does the day look like? I'm like, well, I get off work, I start driving home. Next thing you know, I'm at the gas station or the liquor store, and I didn't plan to be there. And then I remember one day I was driving home, I was on the phone with a friend, and I just got off the freeway and I'm just having a good old conversation. Next thing you know, I pulled up in the parking lot of the gas station, and I was like, friend, I have to go. And then I sat there and I sat with that for a minute because I was like, there was no plan in this. My car drove itself here.
You just drove to the gas station.
Drove to the gas station. Like I didn't even, right? And so that decision autopilot was my routine. The trigger was getting off work, being in the car. The habit track was part of that. Getting off work. My day is now done. I'm in the car. Then in the car after work, the next thing is gas station. And that's what was programmed into myself by myself. But pre-planning can help to break that decision autopilot, right? So making plans directly after work with some of my less rowdy friends made it so that it's like, okay, Oh, do you want to go to the library? Oh yeah, I can meet you there after work. That's not a place where most people are indulging in bad habits, right? Or do you want to meet for coffee? Do you want to? I think I joined book clubs and did all kinds of things, because decision autopilot's going to happen regardless. Like, that's something that's going to happen, and so building routines that support the identity, right? Your identity, make it so that decision autopilot isn't a negative thing, if that makes sense. So implementation intentions are setting plans for when and where to perform a desired behavior. So as we're looking into why routines are important because our routines support our identity, as we talked about. So implementation intentions is part of designing surroundings or your habitat, basically, so that if you know that every day, right when you come home from work, the first thing you're going to do is sit in the last cushion on your couch next to your end table, put your journal on that end table, and start to build the cue, right? Of when I sit on that cushion, I open the journal. And when I open the journal, I start to write, right? If journaling is something that you're trying to bring into your daily life. So decision autopilot is going to happen regardless. And so implementation intentions, or setting specific plans for when and where to perform desired behaviors, can be supported by how we design our environment. So what have you done to design your environment to support the habits that that align with your identity?
One, for cycling, he bike is at the door, right at the front door. So
That's a
shoes
good
are
place for
there.
it. That's a good place for it, because if you have it in your office or in the back, then it's out of sight, out of mind.
Absolutely. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So my gear, so my shoes are there, my helmet's there, all my lights, everything that I need is at the door for cycling. So I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
walk past it, I'm like, all right, that's got to get done.
Yeah.
For eating, my food, I cut up my fruit when I buy it. I put it in the container so that I
Ooh,
can
that's a
just
good
kind of
idea.
grab it. Because for me, if I have to open the refrigerator and make any choices, I'm going in the cabinet and I'm about to eat some noodles. That's just the way it's
Yeah.
gonna be. So
Oh yeah.
to plan that out, as soon as I buy it, I'm just like, all right, let me cut it up, let me make it readily available for me. Life is good.
It's funny that you say that, because I'm gonna go out on a limb and say hundreds. I'm probably over exaggerating, but I have had so many melons go bad on my counter.
Yeah.
Because I was not in the mood to cut it ever in the 2 weeks that I had it since I bought it. And I found that if I buy melon at the grocery store, whole melon, and I cut it before I put it into the fridge, and then next thing you know, I'm just eating bowls of melon. And it's just it's the weirdest thing.
It is. So it's like if you make those kind of preparations, and it does help you to make better decisions. And it's like automatic, so when I open the refrigerator, I'm just grabbing fruit. I'm not in there like, oh, let me see. I'm just like, all right, I pick up my fruit and I go. What else? Clothes, I lay my clothes. So when I do laundry generally between Saturday and Sunday. I wash all the clothes and I fold them and I hang them all up, and then I iron all the clothes for the week. I don't want to deal with it day to day, so I iron all of them. Whatever I think I might want to wear, I iron it all for the week, and I just hang it up. So I just have to go.
My Nana used to do that, and I always thought that's smart, because I mean, I've been late for things because ironing is needed, and I'm not just gonna wear something wrinkled.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
I've gotten a little bit better with like I didn't iron this shirt, but it's a little bit tighter on me, so I figure like my body ironed it for the wear. But yeah, I'm not going out the house with some crazy unironed outfit on. That's not going to be a thing. So I'll definitely be late in order to iron my clothes. Yeah, and I could avoid that by ironing them ahead of time. Smart.
It is. I used to be like that too, and I would be like, well, I'll just get up and I'll iron. And then so what I found was, I'm like, all right, I get up and I have all these other things that I feel like I need to get done, and now I need to take a shower. Then I need to iron clothes, and I'm like, here we go. So now I'm 20 minutes late getting out the door when I could have just avoided it all if I just would have pre-planned a little bit, iron the clothes at night, and be done with it. So it's like set yourself up for success so you don't run into those hiccups.
So it sounds like you've been bashing on yourself a little bit on the routines. I know. But it sounds like you've got some good routines that support your identity, that support the things that you want to do and accomplish.
Yeah, I do have a few things that I think that I've done well that I've mastered. I still have some things that are lingering. I think that's where the challenge comes in, when I haven't mastered those other things yet. I still have some other things I need to kind of put into a routine that I know that are areas of opportunity for me. So, but we'll get there. My challenge comes in where I do have some other areas of opportunity that I haven't yet mastered within a routine yet. And that's where the hard part comes in. And I'm like, you just can't do nothing.
Those thought distortions, man.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a work in progress, but yeah, just getting those other things, I think, in alignment with, what I want to do, we'll be fine. And hopefully, these episodes will help me to do that. That good book you talked about, I'm gonna have to get that.
That good book. It is definitely a good book. I love how Sarah talked about in the previous episode we had some comments from social media, and I love how Sarah noted that one of the biggest benefits of having a routine is being able to adjust and take a break and come back. And I know that's an area where I struggle, because sometimes the break is just, now that's my new identity. Now I'm on a break.
I'm break.
Like, I'm Ross in this situation. Like, we were on a break, dude. But like, so I know one of the things that can be a big challenge for me, especially, is if I am working out consistently and anything gets in the way, right? Like, oh man, I have a meeting at the time when I'm typically doing something that is, athletic, or if there's a doctor's appointment that had to be done, that interrupts a certain routine that I have set up. Maybe it's not working out. Maybe it's my prospecting time in my business. And it's like, okay, or I had a client who could only meet at this time. And it's like, well, that's usually when I do this, but I don't want to disengage with that client or miss out on that meeting. And then getting back into that habit can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. And so there's some things that we have to do with routines to keep them interesting, like varying the activities, or focusing on progress, not perfection, looking at consistency over rigidity, right? Like I've done it so many times with, oh, I'm back at the gym. I'm there 5 a.m., 7 days a week. And then like 3 weeks go by and then something happens, right? Or 2 weeks. And it's like something happens. And now I didn't do that. And now I never go to the gym, blah, 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 right? But on that same vein of keeping things exciting, right? So sometimes things can mess up our routine. So I have a daily routine of prospecting for my business. So I have this little, it's a business card holder. And I also bought this prop money that I had bought for an exercise that I did with my son and my godson about life. And so I have this big old thing of a bunch of prop money. So I took these bills out, and every time, so if I have a goal of X number of prospecting activities per day, and every time I complete one touch, I put $100 bill in my thing, right? And so there's a couple of things there. One, that's now a routine, right? It's do the thing, reach out, send the email, make the connection, comment on the post, make the call, and then I did it. So that's one less from my stack. And I can't leave my desk until the stack is gone, right? And so it does a couple of things. One, it keeps it exciting because a part of me is excited to pick up the 100 and put it there. There's something about it that's like, oh, like, bam, all right. And then there's the other thing of, if I said I'm going to do 10 today, or if I'm going to do 5, or if I'm going to do 20. And so I'm not going to be able to trick myself into thinking, oh yeah, I definitely did 20 today, when really I did 7. Because at the end of my prospecting shift, and that feels good, right? I don't care if it's prop money. Right. It feels good. So that's that's an example of keeping it fresh, right? Kind of switching up or making the routine exciting in some way so that you can stick to it. And I like that. I can't steal the idea. It was in Atomic Habits. Ha! Oh, I was like, wait, what book was I reading?
The good book again.
You're listening to the Me First podcast, brought to you by 360 Home Services. At 360, our mission is to transform spaces and redefine comfort. Check us out at 360cleanit.com. That's 360cleanit.com. You can book right online and get your space transformed. Start redefining your comfort. Yeah, so there was a story about this salesperson who, he was on Wall Street, I believe, and somehow he catapulted his career much faster than everyone else. Mm-hmm. And when the questions came to him of how did you do that, he had this process where he had a jar, an empty jar, and he had a little thing that had, I think, 50 or 100 paper clips in it. And he would make a cold call, and when he hung up the phone, it would be da-da-da-da, hang up the phone, paper clip, empty jar. And he wouldn't stop until all of the paper clips were moved from this jar to the empty one. And then he knew, and again, there's no distorting of I did, because humans, we do have a way of tricking ourselves into believing that we did more than we actually did. That is something that is definitely a distortion that we will create on our own. And so having that mechanism, so that's where I got the idea from. So yeah, it's a good book. And I've actually got I've got another one for you from the book. So the habit loop and routines. So that habit loop, so it's cue, craving, response, reward. When we're building our environment, we want to couple the things that we want to do with the things that we already do, right? So as an example, That's why I asked if you drank coffee, but pairing your morning coffee routine with reading a few pages of an inspiring book. Now, that's so my writing and my reading, my morning writing and reading, because I read and write in the morning and in the evening, but that is always paired with my coffee. So I do boom, 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 and then I make my coffee and I bring that back and I sit down with my journal and a book. Sometimes in the morning it might be something like Rocket Fuel or Above the Line or Sell Like Crazy or Empathy in Action or Question-Based Selling, Outwitting the Devil. It might be one of those books that's more tactical for the day, and I'm going to drink my coffee and I'm going to read my 10 minutes. And now so now coffee isn't connected as much with scrolling or being up, moving about in the house.
Right.
Coffee is synonymous for me with reading and writing. And this is actually something that was really helpful for me when I was getting into the solar industry, because I needed to become a subject matter expert really quickly in order to move up in my career as I had hoped. And so I would have my coffee and I would read, like back then it was like Green Tech Media or something from Solar Power World or something like that. I would have my coffee and I would read articles at that same time. And so that became a thing. And I did the same thing, now that I'm thinking about it. I did the same thing when I needed to become a subject matter expert in legal office technology, in legal technology. So so I've been doing this since before you, James.
Hey, wrote with this, James.
I think maybe I wrote the book. No. Oh man. So
good though. I mean,
yeah. So what are
my kombucha?
Yeah, your alcohol, your morning liquor.
The liquor.
That mushroom beer. No, that's tight. So what habits, routine that you're trying to build do you think you could couple with something else that you're already doing?
Probably reading. All right with writing, but I want to read more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was one of my goals. I did all right for like the first half of the year. Then I kind of fell off a little bit. So I need to get back into a routine of that, but I definitely want to read more. So I generally, when I get back from cycling, I try to be back at least by 6:30. And so I have a little downtime and I'll drink my kombucha and try to have my fruit so I can do my reading then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where would you put whatever book it is that or material that you're going to be reading so that you have the cue of so what would your cue be? Your cue will be returning home from cycling.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you put the book so that it turns into a craving? So it's like,
so where the bike is, there's a stand where the bike is, and my shoes sit there, my helmet sits there. So I'd put the book there because I need to move the book, so I can put my helmet and my shoes there.
That's smart.
Yeah.
See? Mm-hmm. Fixing all the world's problems.
I know. Look at you. Look at you. It only took a podcast. Wow.
See, and so we have those routines which can be extremely like so super powerful in our day. And then it's that habit stacking, right? So what you just described is habit stacking.
Yeah.
So you already have the cue of the bike is at that front door, right? So boom, go for my ride, come back, taking the things off. Well, I can't put them down right there, so I have to pick this up. Well, now it's in my hand. Might as well read while I have my kombucha, right? So So that's habit stacking, which is linking a new habit to an existing routine. So habits and routine is super important because routine is what we do every day. And what we do every day informs us consciously and unconsciously of who we are. And so if I am a reader, or if I believe that I want to be a reader, but I don't read, I'm going to be telling myself that I'm not a reader, which is going to reinforce that the not reading. And then I'm not going to build habits around the reading. Or if I want to be a person who eats for nutrition and fuel, but I surround myself with mini pizzas and
good stuff,
sausage and bacon, then that's not going to align with my identity. And my identity is then going to be, I'm a person who eats for pleasure and for, unhealthily. So
you have to just turn the thought process around.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to encourage everyone listening to reflect on your own routines and consider areas that you might be able to improve on those routines. And I will also say that if you use the journal prompt that will be shared in the show notes and start to write out some of your own routines, in our next episode, we are going to be diving deep into the how of routine. So we're going to dive deeper into some of this habit stacking, getting back on track when your routine falls apart a little bit. The cue, the craving, I cannot memorize these. The cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. And it's funny because I remember when I quit drinking, and I got I don't know, I think I got to 3 months or something, and I told a friend who was not someone who found value in not drinking, and they were like, awesome, you did it. You want to go celebrate with a beer? And I'm
wait a minute.
So the reward doesn't always have to be something that reinforces the thing that you didn't want to do in the first place, right?
This is true, especially for weight loss. I had to learn that because I would be like, oh, I did so great. Let me have a cheat day. I had to give that up.
It doesn't always have to be that, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because that can totally set you back if you are not. Yeah, if you can't really, make that distinction and you're not there yet, it can totally take you backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, because I had a coach, a good nutrition coach, who actually helped me to understand that even the idea of a cheat day, it's what she said, and what I really loved was, you're not cheating, you're just making a decision.
Yeah.
And so having a day where, if it's okay, I'm going to go to this thing, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to have a small slice of cake. That's fine. But your slice of cake doesn't have to be this big. And and you don't also have to be the person who volunteers to take the extra cake home.
Right.
And you don't have to then, if you're having a hot dog, you don't have to have 4. And then it's always also about getting back on track. Are you in a place where you're going to be able to get back on track, or is this something that's going to set you off, get yourself in your head, mess with your personal identity, and really create a situation where it's a negative outcome for you? So reflect on your own routine, and next week we'll get into the how, and we'd love to hear from you. Share questions, comments, thoughts what came up for you as you were reading through, or what came up for you as you were listening to this episode, and what memories do you have of when your routines went really well or when you really struggled? What advice have you gotten, good or bad, over the course of time when you were trying to set a new
some
routine?
Advice?
Yeah, right. Share some of that advice, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks, guys.